right, welcome to our second review of the evening and our final thing for this session. It's a bit odd to say, but we had an impressions video and a review. So, third thing, second review. That'll work. Anyway, up this time is not the latest from Manga Gamer necessarily.
One of the more recent ones.
Well, here's the thing. If you'll go back to our interview with John on Wednesday, Manga Gamer has been releasing fully uncensored visual novels onto the Steam marketplace in the past month or so. And among them is a visual novel called Kara no Shojo, Girl in the Shell. Now, the thing of it is, Kara no Shojo not only is a fairly old visual novel in and of itself, like it's 4:3 in its ratio, so that kind of gives away its age overall.
Mm-hmm.
The manga
it looks like it's been available in English from Manga Gamer since 2015. So
actually 2011.
Oh, okay.
That is the the one you're talking about is Kara no Shojo, the second episode. So this has been out for long enough for its sequel to have gotten translated a few years ago.
Yeah, the voiced edition is from 2013, which again comes after.
There we go. Yeah, this is the voiced edition, by the way. So the point is, the visual novel itself, this translation, has been available for quite some time on the Manga Gamer website, but it's one of the, it's basically one of the pilot program candidates here. It's like Manga Gamer's making a go at releasing the uncensored visual novels of various types. If you want more information, including how to actually see those things on Steam, go listen to our interview from a couple days ago.
Yeah, I will have something
as
linked.
Is fitting for one of the new attempts at putting, adult stuff on Steam. In spite of it definitely is adult and there's definitely like sex stuff in it, but this is not exactly just a porn game. There's a lot more to it than that, and honestly, sounds like there's just as much fan disservice as there is like actual fan service.
Also, a word of warning that this game deals with sensitive subjects like murder, dismemberment, probably rape and sexual assault as well.
Yes.
Although I do not think those things are actually depicted. And it's like, it's like, I know there are debates raging around about depicting those, those sensitive topics, especially sexual assault and rape, because of the times we live in right now.
Yeah.
And the answer to all of that is it's complicated, but it's also, this is the kind of story where you would see such things.
Yeah, it is a fairly dark murder mystery in a lot of ways.
And it's also none of these actual sexy time in this visual novel deals, it's not sexual assault, it's not rape being glorified. That's what the fucking serial killers are doing. They're doing the bad things and they are framed as bad things. So keep that in mind. But that aside, Kara no Shojo it's been a while since we reviewed a visual novel of this nature. And
namely one that's more than just a novel.
Yeah, it's like, believe it or not, I'm not talking about the sex part or the, it's like, or anything like that. It's the actual this is the most gameplay oriented visual novel we've played in a long time. And it's not just a choice system either. Like, there are choices, there are a lot of choices there, but once again, mentioned in the interview, there's also quite a bit of actual investigation going on here. Like, you will be exploring murder sites in search of clues.
Yeah,
kind of weird how that's
reminiscent of, but not exactly the same as Ace Attorney.
Yeah, Ace Attorney, because well, here's the thing. I'd say it's more like a point-and-click adventure game, because here's the thing about Ace Attorney's investigation segments. You really couldn't miss any clues. Like, it literally...
It doesn't let you stop, or it doesn't let you progress until you've missed the clues, or until you've got clues.
Kara no Shojo here, you can miss shit. And that will have an effect on things. And also, unlike...
this game has a lot of bad ends.
Yeah. Unlike Phoenix Wright, you actually do have to do investigating. Like, there's a bit with a handwriting sample. And you actually have to get handwriting samples. Proper handwriting samples at that. Yeah. In order that to be useful. Yeah. And there are a lot of endings. Most are bad endings.
And then even of the good endings, there's a lot of, how many people survived?
Right. People can be killed. People, it's like...
But do people die when they are killed?
In this game, yes.
Usually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like I said, I know we've reviewed visual novels of this nature before, but it's been so long, I can scarcely remember when we reviewed a visual novel that, had this many actual gameplay elements into it. And as such, you're gonna be doing multiple playthroughs.
You will.
Yeah, especially if you're not using a guide the first time. Apparently, the good end is rather difficult to puzzle out.
That's not a surprise. It's
no,
like...
it isn't.
That's a pretty typical visual novel thing in and of itself. You get the bad ends before you get the good end, and you then get the good end until you get the true final end kind of deal.
Yeah.
So, as far as the actual subject matter of this Kara no Shojo, you are Detective... forgive me if I mispronounce this. Reiji Tokisaka.
That sounds about right.
You are an ex-cop who, you are playing a private detective who is getting, who dealt with a whose wife or fiance, I think, got killed 6 years ago. You got a high school aged little sister, like,
who, because this is anime, takes care of the house.
Oh God!
Because your character is not good at that.
Well, it's also because this is 1956.
Right.
It's like...
Which, no, in 1956 has a somewhat different connotation. I mean, it's not a...
No.
It has, in some ways it's similar, but in some ways it has a rather different connotation in Japan than in the U.S.
Well, here's the thing. The fact that it's 1956 is reflected in the game, in the story, and not just because, your sister is doing the submissive housewife thing. Like... it's because they talk about the American occupation, which, believe it or not, was still still going on. I think about to end about 1956. Like, if I'm recalling correctly, like, American America actually controlled Japan for about 10 years, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But
there's a prequel or another game set in the same universe with a few overlapping characters.
Right.
That takes place during or just after the American occupation.
Cartagara.
Something like that, yeah.
Cartagara.
It's like.
And they talk about rebuilding things, and keep in mind this is Tokyo in 1956.
Tokyo got a little bit roughed up.
Well, it's also if this were taking place in Okinawa, then the American occupation actually lasted there until the mid-1960s.
Yeah, and if it was taking place in Hiroshima, there wouldn't be much of a Hiroshima at this point.
God damn it. I was about to make that joke.
Well, I'll beat you to it.
Gonna go cry now.
Yeah. It's very reflective of not immediate post-war Japan, but the Japan that has been defeated for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind that is background details.
Mm-hmm.
It's like things like the post-war miracle and what have you, big historical events. They're not really they're background flavor for what's going on. And what's going on here is serial killers.
Yep.
Particularly thematic serial killers, because they aren't they always?
Well, in terms of fiction, yes. Because you are dealing with a murderer who is reenacting. Well, okay, here's the thing. That got spoiled in the interview, but that's an actual plot point in the game.
It is.
But I guess since we talked about it in the interview, we can talk about it here. The serial killer is referencing Dante's Inferno, which is admittedly not the first thing that comes up on the serial killer reference list.
Especially since a lot of those things are not fatal in Dante's Inferno.
Right.
And I mean, running from bees forever isn't that bad. I don't know.
Well, unless you're like me and have anaphylaxis. Bees could kill me, yo.
Well, it's running from bees while waist deep in muck, I think.
Right. And you're not really dealing with somebody getting locked in an ice box either.
Mm-mm.
And your job is to find the killers before they can kill again. Actually, I think that might actually be now we've mentioned it. Spoiler: there will be more murders.
Yeah, it's a serial killer.
Yeah.
It's a murder mystery. There's never just the one murder usually, unless it's like an episodic thing.
Right. And
you do have some influence over the number of additional murders, but
right. That is to say, there are characters who will always die. There are characters who will always live as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who those characters are, well, that's up to you to figure out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of production value, visuals, pretty standard visual novel stuff. Albeit, in terms of what we've been reviewing lately, definitely grittier and more darker palette, because we are dealing with a serial killer case, not things about fairies and such.
It seemed pretty realistic mostly, and actually I said this in the chat, when the murders aren't happening and you're like in a lower stress scenario, it can actually be kind of comfy looking.
It can be, yeah. There's a few times I've found the atmosphere to be much lighter than I would have expected it to be.
Right. And one of the things that's, I'd say the thing that's driving up the price of this is the voices. This is fully voice acted outside of the main character. And it's also both female and male characters. Everyone talks, and when people talk, things get expensive.
Especially when there are multiple routes, because that sometimes means you have to pay someone to say more than one thing for the same scene.
Right. And how expensive, you might ask? Well, $35 this game is clocking in at, which is definitely on the heavier side.
Yeah,
that's
an oof.
Yeah.
That said, I can't say it doesn't seem like that doesn't seem ridiculous from the quality that I saw, so.
No, it's like, in terms of like production values, I'd say, and given what we were told about who's been voicing, like, there's seems to be some name talent on display here.
You may not recognize all of them, and if you look at the named cast, you probably will recognize even fewer of them, because some people like to use their stage names or fake names when they're in a game, what with the porn parts. But yeah, there's some significant voice acting talent, so
yeah, they didn't grab the custodial staff for this one.
Right.
Yep. Nope. Also worth noting, there is no sound. There is no soundtrack. There is no DLC with this. It is just the game, which is actually a bit of a shame, because the soundtrack is fairly nice. Actually, pretty comparable to This Is the Police too. Oddly enough, it's that light jazz, easy listening,
which is kind of appropriate for the 50s.
Right. Like, more appropriate here than it was in This Is the Police too. Like, but yeah, it's like, so price tag's pretty big here. Like, it's like, if you want to go in on this, I'd say you'd have to have a certain level of commitment.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean actually playing the game. As far as the porn scenes go, how do I put this?
They're not all sexy.
It's also, if you want to get the sexy CGs, there are ways of doing that.
Yeah, get this game for the story, not just for wank material.
Yeah, it's like,
if you want a game that's just porn, they have those.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's plenty of porn on the internet that's not even games.
Yeah, it's like, this is this is a game that's definitely taking itself more seriously than if it were just just a proper hentai or anything like that.
Yeah, it is.
So all that considered, it's,
if you're into visual novels that have actual gameplay and like murder mysteries and stuff, then this is and you think you'd be willing to try again and get the good ending, this is actually probably worth it.
Yeah, I think I got a term for this going forward. I'm gonna call this a complicated recommendation. Because, on the whole, I can recommend it, but there's a lot of caveats here.
Yeah. Well, the biggest one being a lot of places you have to be 18 or older to get this game. Some places 21. So there is that. There's like a whole big warning on Steam.
Yeah, this is meant for a mature audience.
Yeah. And like actually mature.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of mature subject matter here that, it's a pricey visual novel. So, yeah, I'm going with a complicated recommendation.
Yeah, I say also besides being 18 or older, if you're somebody who's squeamish, you might want to avoid this. Mm-hmm. You're going to see some terrible things regardless of where you go in this game.
If you're a survivor of sexual assault, you might not want to be playing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warning.
I'm pretty sure there are other warnings, but we don't have time to go through all of them.
Right. But,
yeah.
So, there you go. That is our review of Kara no Shojo. And that will about do it for this week in terms of coverage. Let's see. The week ahead. Well, we were supposed to have a Tuesday show, but that has been delayed because the developers have requested time. They need more another window in order to talk about what they are working on. It's one of those situations where there isn't much to say. So, it's a fairly big project. So, I've been assured that it's going to happen.
Is this the one we've been working on for months?
2.5 months going. And they know how long it's been going. There's been a lot of profuse apologies and game offers, like notable game offers. I had to turn down one because it just isn't fitting into the review schedule right now. I'm like, yep. It's like, anyway, coming. Also, I managed to find a replacement for Wednesday. Yeah, these are the kind of things I've been working on. Yeah. So coming up on Wednesday, December 5th, we will be talking to Jake Fetlen. Yeah, it's like, here, I'm going to post this into the chat, and Alex, you give your try here.
Sure.
So many windows.
So many windows, so little time.
Trefethen, yeah.
Trefethen.
I'm not sure where that would be from.
We can ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of Little Sum Games. Currently there, I believe they have just released their latest or the alpha version of Heatwave. It is a lighthearted co-op zombie game where you and up to 4 friends battle an onslaught of sentient chili peppers in order to save the Wild West. Like, okay, it's actually not...
Wait, are they chili peppers or are they zombies? Are they sentient or are they zombies? Or are you zombies?
I think we broke Golux.
It's possible. Like, the thing of it is, this game isn't on, like, Steam. It's on their website. Like, so... yeah, it's like... yeah, we're not actually going to do a gameplay video of this. We'll probably have footage of... it's like if the link actually works. But yeah, it's like they are also currently developing a game called Avalon, which is a massive social city builder. Like, and that's 6 months into development. So we've got things to talk about. And until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.